Toronto, I really do. I've spent a lot of time there. I've made movies there. I've played with my band there several times.
That's right, you have.
Yeah. And we're actually going to be back there probably in April, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, good.
We'll be,
yeah. Well, I was going to say, well, at the end,
okay,
we'll talk
good.
about the music thing for
sure.
sure. I got lots to ask you. Okay, here we go. Well, congratulations, because I thought you did one hell of a job.
Thank you very much.
Movie,
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I was wondering, I mean, when you found out that you got this role, how freaked out were you?
You're right, I was very freaked out because it was a huge responsibility, and you know when you show up with Oliver Stone and this caliber of actors, you better try not to suck, you know. And it was just a big undertaking. Physically, mentally, there was a lot of challenges. But I was very fortunate because I had taken 2 years off, and I came back, and then I was in this Oliver Stone movie. So it was very, I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity, really am.
Where did you even start to get ready for this?
I started reading, and I started running, and I started gaining weight because I wanted to feel strong for the role, so I put on about 15 pounds, and I read up on my classics, got into Homer and Aeschylus and Aristotle, and was reading all kinds of books, and it just continued from there.
How do you get into a mindset of a guy like this? Who did you talk to, or just to try and understand a bit about him?
Well, Oliver had great open kind of philosophical discussions with the cast. We did a lot of reading, talked to each other. The script is the ultimate source of information for me. That was the starting point. And then you flesh it out with your imagination and looking into his... I looked at everything from coins. I kind of get obsessed at looking at coins because coins stick around a long time, you know, and a lot longer than other things. So there's very little about Alexander that survived. I think most of it was probably in the libraries of Alexandria because Ptolemy probably brought it there, which is a shame after the fires there. It was just destroyed.
The relationship between Alexander and Hephaestion, I mean, obviously there's been so much discussion about it, and I thought it was handled really well in the movie, by the way. And did you have to get into that mindset when you were thinking, like, oh my goodness, like,
you know what,
to talk about the love, you know, between them?
For me, I understood, as soon as I read the script, I understood the relationship was about love. And 4 months later, Robin Lane Fox, who wrote an incredible biography of Alexander, said to me, the first thing he said is, the only thing you need to know about Alexander and Hephaestion is the love that they had for each other. So it's nice to have that reiterated. I think Oliver put the most important part of our relationship on screen. And Hephaestion was really critical to Alexander's success, emotionally and politically. So it was. I loved the character of Hephaestion, and it was easy for me to understand the relationship and all the parameters. So it was cool.
You spent obviously most of your scenes with Colin. When you started to work with him, I mean, what ultimately impressed you about him? Why was he such a great Alexander?
I'll tell you. You know why he was the strongest quality that comes to mind is his generosity as an actor. He's also a born leader, and he's got a big heart. He's really, he's got a lot of similarities.
To Alexander?
Yeah, in many ways. He played the part beautifully on the day when we shot it. And we all rallied around him, and it was easy for us to see him in the part. It wasn't a stretch at all.
Yeah, you all did a really good job.
Thank you very much.
It must have been an extremely challenging work.
It was very.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, being bloodied up. What's with you in these masochistic roles? I have to
don't
ask
know.
you. You're being punched out. I'll never forget Requiem for a Dream, that shot with the armor. I will never in my life forget that performance. It was one of the most awesome.
Thank you very much.
But you like to get beat up in films. What is going on with you?
I don't know. It's like a sadomasochistic clause in my contract that someone's putting in there every time. From Fincher to Aronofsky to Oliver Stone, I get pretty worked. Every movie, yeah, you're right, every movie. I was in Toronto making American Psycho, and I get hacked to death in that one. So it just seems to be something, I don't know, maybe I'm meant to die soon.
Perhaps a comedy soon, Jared?
Maybe, yeah.
You think you want to maybe go that way?
Maybe that would be nice to try someday.
Lighten it up a little, okay? No, you're great, but lighten it up a little.
Yeah.
We're tired of seeing you
I
bashed
could use
up.
that. Maybe Oliver could use that too. Maybe him and I. Could you imagine him and I doing a comedy? Disaster.
No, not at all. I think it'll be
Disaster.
good. Speaking of Oliver Stone, what is
Yeah.
it about this man? I mean, what makes him such a great director?
Talent. Talent above and beyond everything. He's a mad genius. He's like Beethoven or Van Gogh or something. He's crazy and beautiful and chaotic and intelligent, passionate. He's just a fascinating human being. Have you talked to him yet?
Not yet. Before, a long
You
time,
let
many
me
years,
know.
but not
Okay,
yet this
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
But
He's very unique, you know, and he's tremendous writer, you know. I think, you know, obviously we know he's a great director, but his writing is just so beautiful.
why do you guys strive so hard to? I mean, you've worked with some great directors, as you mentioned, but what is it about Oliver that just piques everybody's performances?
He, I think, is a maverick. He takes chances, and when you kind of can sense that talent and that bravery, it makes you want to go there with him. And we all want to take chances and do something that, you know, we're proud of. And he really strives to be great. And that's a nice thing to be around.
Yeah, I'm sure. At the end of the day, I mean, I was saying to Colin that, you know, I think Alexander was, even though he was revered and loved and accomplished so much, he was kind of a sad character, kind of a lonely guy, really. And, you know, really, in your opinion, why do you think Alexander was so great?
I think he was born with an incredible amount of talent. He was tutored by Aristotle. His father was one of the greatest military minds of all time. He set Alexander up with the first standing army ever, 50,000 incredible warriors. So everything kind of clicked.
You were saying earlier, your career is just, you know, you're just, like I say, such a really fine actor.
Thank you so much. I
Congratulations on
appreciate
everything
it.
that you do. And
Thank you.
we also have this great music career. So what's going on there? We have a CD or what's going on?
Yeah, I have another CD coming out in April, 30 Seconds to Mars. It's on Virgin Records, and it'll be out soon. God, that's soon. That's only 5 months.
Yeah, it's very soon.
So we'll probably be coming up to Toronto again, too. We
Well-
played there several times, and we love it, so we'll be back.
Well, you have a
definitely.
lot of fans there, I know that for sure.
It's great people there. Great people, great crowd.
What is it when you either work on a film or work on your music? I mean, I know this is a really hard question, but ultimately, what really gives you the satisfaction? Where can you be more creative? Or
I don't, you know, I've always been driven by creative impulses, and I search for that reward. But I think it's an indefinable thing, really. It's just you're kind of obsessed with it, or you're not, I think. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, you know? But I'll see you in Toronto soon.
well, I hope so.
Yeah.
What, in terms of your films, what are we going to see next? Or what is there specifically that you look for in your scripts now?
I look for three things. I look for a great script, a great director, and a great part. And, you know, this movie definitely falls into that category. So I just did a film called Lord of War with Nick Cage and a director named Andrew Niccol who did Gattaca and Truman Show, really talented, gifted guy.
Is Ethan Hawke in that as well?
Ethan Hawke's in it, and Bridget Moynahan, and a bunch of other great actors. It's a really beautiful story. It's something that's never been on screen before. It's about the sale of weapons across the world.
Wow.
Very important film in a weird way, you know, and the consequences about that. So.
And are you doing a film called Awake? Or
Yeah,
is that, okay,
yeah,
now tell
I'm
me,
doing a
because that's
really-
like everybody's nightmare. I was reading the premise of that. Can you
Yeah.
imagine being on an operating table and your anesthetic wears off? Like, tell me a little bit about that. 'Cause
Well, it's about a young guy that goes into the hospital to get a heart transplant. He gets put under anesthesia, and he realizes once he's under that he can hear and feel everything, but he can't move. And they're ripping his heart open and pulling it out of his chest. And then some other things happen. I can't talk about it, but he's got to kind of go through his memories to figure out what's going on.
more masochism.
Yeah, more masochism.
Jared,
What's up with that?
no, get the comedies happening,
Maybe I
okay?
need a spanking.
Okay, I won't be giving it to you, but it's a pleasure to meet you and talk to
You're
you.
such a tease.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's funny because I have a son, Jared.